Hey everybody. So I'm going to do a video on just the basics of understanding cryptocurrencies and investing and how to be safe whenever it comes to cryptocurrencies. I've been in this market for pretty close to 10 years now, and things have become a lot more simple comparative to how they used to be. However, there's still some pitfalls. You can still get scammed. There are quite a few things that you need to understand and worry about. So I'm going to start from just basic knowledge, somebody that's just coming on here that doesn't know anything about cryptocurrencies in general. Cryptocurrencies, I believe that they will be the future of finance and investing in for several different reasons. There's different types of cryptocurrencies. You've got Bitcoin, which is the main one with the largest market cap. It has the most money invested in there, and then you've got Ethereum, which is more of a protocol currency, kind of like a software that other applications run on. And then you've got stable coins, which stay at $1. They're not, you don't want to really invest in those. You just use those to transfer money back and forth. And eventually, the United States and other countries around the world will probably be using those because it's faster to transact those within the financial system. It's a new technology that just tends to work better. Our old one is pretty outdated. So if you're just getting started in this space, this is the place where you need to be. And I'll break down some basics to where you can actually get started. So the first page that I have, I teach technical analysis, and then I teach how to use hardware wallets and what I'm buying and what I'm selling. And you can join my group for a monthly fee. Try it out for a month and see if you like it. You're free to ask any questions. I'll answer any questions relating to crypto if they're basic or not. I give out. I do 2 videos a week, and then I post news content. Sometimes daily, sometimes weekly. It just kind of depends on how the market's flowing. And I teach technical analysis, so I'll show you charts and what I'm buying, what I'm selling. So let's get into it. Let's say I am a new person and I have $5,000 to invest. Now I want to buy some Bitcoin and maybe some altcoins as well. So the first thing that you have to do, you would have to get an exchange, right? So like an exchange, I would trust Coinbase because it's listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and it's been a pretty solid company over the past over 10 years. So now I'd go to Coinbase, I'd get the application, I'd set up an account on there, and then I'd deposit the money into that Coinbase account. Make sure you set up KYC and two-factor authentication. There are ways that people can take your money from Coinbase if you don't have two-factor authentication on there. Within the app, just go to the settings and it says 2FA on there, and it'll show you how to set that up. Google it if you don't know how to do that. Okay, once you buy that, or once you get an account set up, which it's free, you would then figure out what you want to buy. So if you have $10,000, this is this is not financial advice, but um, the lowest risk cryptocurrency is Bitcoin, right? It's kind of like the gold and the most stable out of all of the other cryptocurrencies. Some pitfalls that you might fall in: you want to earn more money faster, and you can in the altcoin market, which is everything but Bitcoin. However, they're more risky, and a lot of them fail over time. And I'll show you like how to pick which ones of those would be the highest bet. But in the Patreon, I tell you what I'm doing, right? But I will kind of lean into that a little bit in this video. So first, you get the Coinbase account. You deposit $10,000 in there. Now, roughly, I would say to keep 80% in Bitcoin and then 20% in the altcoins. I think that's a pretty fair assessment. If you just want to buy Bitcoin and hold it, And it kind of depends on how much money you have, but 10,000 you can probably sacrifice 2,000 to do some of the other ones, and that 2,000 might outperform the 8,000 that you have in Bitcoin, but you might lose it as well, right? So don't be too quick to jump into anything that you might be hearing about on YouTube. It's a very bad sign to listen to anybody that's really talking about specific cryptocurrencies on YouTube, especially if their channel is based around that cryptocurrency, because their monetization is based on their views, and they're not going to talk negative about the specific cryptocurrency that they're talking about. Otherwise, their views are going to drop and their salary is going to drop. So try to find somebody that's non-biased, that's going to help you throughout this journey, because it is a journey. Cryptocurrency is not easy to participate in. It does have swings of 50% drops or more every once in a while. That's what I go over in the Patreon, and we kind of go through that together. You kind of have a coach, and then you have a team that helps you as well. Now that you have the 10,000 in there, let's say you put 8,000 in Bitcoin. So you buy the Bitcoin, you just find Bitcoin on there, press buy, and then now you have $2,000 to where you want to decide what to buy. A good website to go to that I've been using for the past 8 years or so is called coinmarketcap.com. Now, on my screen, this is CoinMarketCap. It lists all of the cryptocurrencies here. You can see thousands of them, right? There's a whole bunch of them. Okay, the one thing that you want to pay attention to is this number right here. So Bitcoin is number 1, and this is based on market cap, so how much money is in the cryptocurrency. On this one, you have $1.6 trillion in Bitcoin invested. Okay, normally when you have something that's that much money, it's not really going to go away, right? So you already have $8,000 in there. So what's the next thing that you could buy? Ethereum, right? Ethereum has $280 billion in there. Okay, the next thing here is Tether, which is a stable coin. You don't want to buy that because it stays at $1 forever. You'll never make more money buying it today. XRP is a pretty strong token as well. It's number 4. It's got $86 billion in there. This is going to, I think that this is going to replace the transaction of money on stable coins, this and XLM as well. BNB is a token that it's an exchange, so it's kind of like Coinbase, but they have their own token. It's very similar to Ethereum, and it's a very well backed cryptocurrency. USDC is another stable coin. You can see the prices at $1, so it stays at $1. Solana is another one very similar to Ethereum. It has a $50 billion market cap. It's probably going to do really well long term. However, it's gone up a lot since its inception. So I'd be careful with that one unless you have a really long-term perspective. Tron is very similar to Ethereum and Solana as well. It's got a $32 billion market cap. Doge is a meme coin, which is it was created as a joke, right? But it has done really, really well over time. And when people think of cryptocurrency, they think of Dogecoin. Now, it was created as a joke, however, it can still be used as money. Okay, and that's the value that it produces. And it has $17 billion in there. Now, if you're going to invest, staying within probably the top 25 cryptocurrencies, maybe 50, is really important, but do your own research within those. Staying within the top 5 is probably a little less risky long term, but you have to look at the chart as well to know how high it is right now. But if you have a 10-year time horizon, Ethereum's probably a pretty good bet. XRP is probably a pretty good bet. Doge is probably a pretty good bet. Okay, it just kind of depends what you're wanting to do there. So $2,000, maybe put 1,000 in Ethereum, and then 500 in Doge, and then 500 in XRP, or maybe 1,000 in Ethereum, 1,000 in XRP. So that's kind of just a rough estimate. You can put more in there, but you have to be willing to take more risk on. So it depends on your age level, what your goals are, and it just takes a bit of critical thinking about what you want to do there. But this is a very good metric. Tells you fear and greed index. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do on CoinMarketCap that are really incredible, and just take a look at it. Okay, now that you have your cryptocurrency, there's been a saying not to leave cryptocurrencies on exchanges. So if you want to pass down your cryptocurrency and take it off an exchange, because sometimes exchanges shut down for whatever reason, maybe there's too many things happening within the market and you can't buy or sell, so you might have to use a decentralized exchange. Decentralized exchanges aren't quite as safe, but as long as you have a ledger device, you should be good using them, as long as you're using a good one and you understand what you're using. So like MetaMask, for example, is a good decentralized exchange. But you need a ledger, right? You need a hardware wallet. So this is a device. It's a USB device that has been around for quite some time. You could buy the $62 one, that's fine, and learn how to use it. There's plenty of tutorials on how to use a ledger, but you can take the Bitcoin off of the exchange and put it on your ledger. That's a handheld device. You have a 10-phrase passcode that you either need to remember, save, and put in a safe deposit box. Never put it on the internet, never take a picture of the private key, and you can access that ledger anywhere all over the country. If you lose the device, even if you have the private key, you can be in China, buy a new ledger, and re-plug that device in, the private key in there, and your money will show up. So it's very helpful to have one of these. It can't be hacked, and Coinbase, which is a hot wallet, there is a potential that it can be. You should be fine with two-factor authentication, because you have to actually have your phone in your hand, right, to be able to pull money off there or on there, but just extra security, and that's why you would need a cold wallet. Okay, so that is the gist of buying crypto and storing it safely, ways to be as safe as possible. Okay, now we get into the technical analysis. This is what I teach I teach all of this, right? But this is the main thing that I teach on a weekly basis, to predict when the best time to buy and when the best time to sell would be. Now I use something called TradingView. So download this on your phone, and then we can look at Bitcoin here. Let's just look at Bitfinex here. Okay, now I go over pretty much everything that happens with technical analysis. Now Bitcoin is in a corrective cycle right now, whether it's over or it has some time to continue down. That is something that I teach in the group. So is this the best time to be buying Bitcoin? That's something that I teach in the group. So you can kind of predict when Bitcoin's going to top if you're good enough, right? And when it's going to bottom if you're good enough. And I go over indicators, and I teach ways to predict those things. You're never going to hear about this on the news. You're never going to hear about this from your friends, very rarely. there's information for the classes, information for the masses. The masses are what the news might bring up Bitcoin. Typically it talks about Bitcoin when it's on the top of the cycle, and it says Bitcoin's dead at the bottom of the cycle. So if you're listening to the news, you are going to lose probably all of your money. So looking at momentum indicators will tell you when the best time to be buying is. Okay, I think that covers pretty much everything that you need to know, at least to start out with in cryptocurrency. And again, check out my Patreon. It's on the bio on my YouTube. And if you're interested in it, I can send you the link on, just comment on this video and I'll send you the link over. But yeah, you have access to me pretty much all day. And there's a few $45 a month memberships left. But there's only a couple of those. So get it while it's open, and I hope you'll have a good day. I hope this is helpful for everybody.